Hello everyone, welcome to Lost in the Reel. Today I'm going to be ranking all 8 Best Picture nominees at this year's Oscars from the worst to the best. Now this last year was an incredible year for film, and I really do think these Best Picture nominees mirror that. There's only one film that I wouldn't recommend out of the bunch. The other 7 I think are great, so this was really hard to put together. Now remember, this is not the definitive ranking, this is just my opinion. So now, without further ado, let's get started. So remember guys, the 93rd Academy Awards ceremony will take place Sunday, April 25th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So definitely don't miss that. And also, if you haven't checked it out yet, I guest hosted on Rob Chris Jansen's channel, where me and a couple of other co-hosts gave our thoughts on a lot of the nominations and also gave our hot takes. So definitely worth a watch. I'll put a link up there for you to check it out. And now, let's get to ranking. So last, and certainly least, in my opinion, is David Fincher's Mank. Now, this was a film I was really looking forward to because not only do I love David Fincher, he's one of my favorite directors, but I also just love movies about old Hollywood. So imagine my shock when I found this film to be so extremely boring. So Mank to me is a film that is all style over substance. Yes, it is a beautiful film to look at. The black and white is crisp and clean. The production design, the cinematography, the costume design, makeup, hairstyling, which it's all nominated for, it looks great. The film is fantastic on a craft level, but when it comes to the movie itself and its story, there is no emotional impact. And Gary Oldman, who I enjoy as an actor, I think he can transform into a lot of these roles. I just don't think he's good enough to garner a nomination for Best Actor, especially in a year when we have Kingsley Ben-Adir as Malcolm X in One Night in Miami, and Delroy Lindo in a career-defining role in Da 5 Bloods. So this movie is just not a winner for me, and it's definitely the worst of the Best Picture nominees. Now, from here on out, I think all of the rest of these films are great, and I would recommend them to everybody. But my number 7 choice is going to be Aaron Sorkin's The Trial of the Chicago 7. This is such a timely film with a fantastic script by Aaron Sorkin. I mean, what else could you expect from the guy? And also, the cast is excellent. We have Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Frank Langella, Jeremy Strong, Mark Rylance, Eddie Redmayne, to name just a few. So I think this film is going to resonate with a lot of people because of what a crowd pleaser it is. Now that is something that I appreciate about this film, but something that I think is also one of its flaws. Because The Trial of the Chicago 7 tackles its subject material in a sort of cookie cutter sort of way. And there's also another film on this list that deals with the same subject material during the same era that is done in a much more profound and honest way. Also, some of this film is a little bit historically inaccurate, and that is going to bother some people. And with this movie, Aaron Sorkin proves once again that he's much more of a writer than a director. And that shows in the nominations because he was not nominated for director, but was nominated for screenplay. All of that aside, The Trial of the Chicago 7 is still a moving and compelling watch, so it takes my number 7 spot. My number 6 pick is a film that I think is probably going to take home the trophy for Best Picture, and although I do think it is an incredible film, I think that there are much better choices in this lineup, and that movie is Nomadland. So my buddy Jonathan, the man of movies, he said this in his top 10 films of 2020 video. I have to put a link to that right up here. But he said it so well. He basically said, you might as well just go outside, go to a park, and you've seen Nomadland. And I pretty much agree with him because this film has no plot. Basically, we're following Frances McDormand around as she travels the West in her van. That's it. And she meets some cool people along the way and takes some odd jobs. But really, Nomadland is a meditation on where we're going as a society and what the American dream actually means, if the American dream exists anymore. And for that, I think Nomadland is quite powerful. Also, the cinematography is out of this world, and I really do think it's going to take home the statue for that prize as well. And Chloe Zhao's direction is just outstanding. She really has become a master of her craft after being a director for such a short period of time. I'm so impressed with her and cannot wait to see what she does with Marvel's The Eternals. So, although I think Nomadland is a bit of a slog to get through, I do think it is a very important film, especially for our times, and will be remembered as such. So, it takes my number 6 spot. My number 5 pick is a film that I originally gave a lower score to than Nomadland and The Trial of the Chicago 7, but it's a film that has really stuck with me, and I think it is also a very important film about the American dream, and that movie is Minari. This is just a lovely little film about a family trying to stick together, all the while attempting to assimilate into American culture and stake out a place for themselves in this new world. Lee Isaac Chung brings such a personalized touch to both his direction and to his screenplay. He creates such fully, vividly realized characters that you can relate to on so many different levels. And Yoo Jung-yoon as the grandma in Minari just blew me away. She injects so much heart and humor into this film, and I would love to see her win Best Supporting Actress. Although I do think that the film really lacks an emotional gut punch that I was really yearning for, I still think that this is an outstanding film. So Minari takes my 5th spot. My number 4 pick is a film that I am so happy got the Oscar love that it deserved. And remember when I was talking about The Trial of the Chicago 7 being kind of cookie cutter? Well, this film is anything but that, and that is Judas and the Black Messiah. This is a movie that is not easy to watch because of its brutal and raw depiction of America's war on race, one that unfortunately is still waging today. The entire cast is at the top of their game here. Daniel Kaluuya is absolutely transformative as Fred Hampton. There are moments when he's on stage giving these speeches that you can tell the actors in the audience, their minds are being blown because he becomes Fred Hampton. He 100% will win the Best Supporting Actor Oscar, and deservedly so. And also, Dominique Fishback as his girlfriend injects this heart into the film that it really needed, and I think it's a crime she wasn't considered for Best Supporting Actress. But what can you do? And the direction by Shaka King here is next level. He is definitely one of our most exciting up-and-coming directors. He really throws you into the action and you really feel a part of the moment. Absolutely love the direction here. My only qualm with Judas and the Black Messiah is I think there was just so much material to cover here that I think it would have benefited from either being a mini-series or a limited series with all of the same people involved, and then it really could have fleshed out all of its storylines. Besides that, I think Judas and the Black Messiah is a near masterpiece and a must-watch, so it takes my 4th spot. My number 3 pick is a film that I had heard so much about, and I thought it might be one of those cases where you just hear all of these great things about a movie, and then once you see it, you're kind of let down by it. Well, that was certainly not the case with The Father. So this is a movie about a man who has dementia and his daughter who is trying to find the best way to take care of him. Yeah, not the easiest subject material to get through. But The Father does something miraculous. It really makes you, as a viewer, feel like you are seeing and feeling exactly what this father is. The editing and the camera work add to this disorientation, and it's really just masterful work. Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman. I mean, both incredible actors, but this is the best we have ever seen Anthony Hopkins, even though I think Hannibal Lecter will always be his iconic role. I think this is probably his best performance, and Olivia Colman continues to prove that she is one of the best actresses of her generation. Even though there were a lot of really good horror films in 2020, I believe The Father counts as the most terrifying. It is harrowing, heartbreaking, and absolutely devastating, and in my opinion, pretty unforgettable. So I will be putting The Father in my number 3 spot. And my number 2 pick is just as devastating as The Father for a lot of the same reasons, and that movie is Sound of Metal. The director, Darius Marder, his DP, and the sound department of Sound of Metal were really able to make you feel like you were losing your hearing along with our lead character, played by Riz Ahmed. And speaking of Ahmed, I knew he was great after seeing him in The Night Of and Nightcrawler, but holy crap. He is so good in Sound of Metal. In any other year, Anthony Hopkins or Riz Ahmed would be a shoo-in to win, but there are 3 incredible performances by lead actors here. So unfortunately, he probably will not win the Oscar, but if they could do a 3-way tie, they absolutely should in this regard. Sound of Metal works on so many different levels because you fall in love with Ruben, our lead character. You want to see him succeed, you want to see him get through this and get out of this dark hole, but it's such uncharted territory that you have no idea how he's going to do that. Also, his relationship with Lou, his girlfriend, played by the always amazing Olivia Cooke, is a relationship for the ages. Throw in one of the best supporting performances of the year in Paul Raci, and you have a film about growth and healing that will move you to your very core. So, Sound of Metal is my number 2 choice. And that means my number 1 pick, and the film that I believe should be going home with the Best Picture Oscar, is Promising Young Woman. This stylish and gripping dark comedy thriller about a young woman who acts blacked out drunk, so guys will take her home, try to take advantage of her, and then she gets the last laugh on them, is able to balance so many different types of genres to create such a unique and groundbreaking experience. Carey Mulligan gives her best performance to date as Cassie, and what's amazing about this is that this is not a role you would expect Carey Mulligan to excel at, but it shows you what a chameleon she is because she runs with it, and honestly, I couldn't see anyone else taking on this role. This film is crafted beautifully from top to bottom, and the screenplay is just brilliant because it's structured in a way that you never know what's going to happen next. The end, which I loved, was divisive among audiences to say the least, but it proves what a juggernaut Promising Young Woman is, and that it's not afraid to take chances, and that is why I am championing this film, because it's unlike anything you've ever seen before, and it's unlike what the Academy usually goes for, but this is the type of movie I want to see Hollywood make more of. And it is a masterpiece. So that is my personal ranking of all 8 Best Picture nominees. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are and what your ranking would be of these films. We love to have great conversations here at Lost in the Reel. Thank you so much, guys. We will see you soon.